I'm writing this to make sure this same thing doesn't happen to you as it did to me. I was searching the internet for free games. I came across this website that was for downloading free indie games and ROMs of homebrew games. But when I went to the website, my laptop crashed and I had to reboot. When it started back up, there was a strange icon on my desktop, don't play.exe. I decided to open the game and play it. It looked like an early Super NES game with rather unpolished graphics. The title screen was a sunset sky with scrolling cartoon clouds, and the title was written in blue, angular crystalline font in katakana. My Japanese was pretty rusty, but I knew enough to understand what it said. 4-Beast Story, or Story of 4 Beasts. It had 4 options: Start, Option, Time Attack, and Sound Test. There was no copyright information or date. I selected Start, and it seemed pretty good for an early SNES game, until I got to level 6. More on that later. Here's how the game worked. You selected one of the 4 characters at the start of each level, and could switch between them in level via the pause characters at the start of each level, and could sorry, I messed up on that. And could switch between them in level via the pause screen, like that old NES game Little Simon. There was a kappa named Neshu Eggplant, who was basically useless on land but was absolutely necessary for the underwater sections. A cat named Monica, who was incredibly fast and agile but weak. A wolf, I'm guessing it was a wolf, it had a dog-like nose and pointy ears, named Boris, who was strong but slow and couldn't jump very high. And finally a monkey, Hyro, who had a well-rounded jumping and speed abilities and could take a fair amount of damage. Naturally, I usually picked Hyro. The objective of each level was to find a key and use it to open a hidden door within a certain amount of time, usually 5 minutes. The levels were littered in koban, oval gold coins, once used as currency in Japan, that you could collect 50 of for a 1-up. Oddly, though, the coin counter did reset when you did this. They just kept counting up as you collected them. I passed this off as a glitch in by the directors. Some parts were really hard and I had kept dying, so I found myself stocking up on coins to get 1-ups and running out of time occasionally. It was no problem though. I just tried again when this happened.
He's so lame. That's so good.
Now, about level 6. I finished level 5 with Hyro, and when I started level 6, I skipped the character selection screen. It skipped the character selection screen and plopped me straight into the level. I dismissed it as a glitch, but then I came to the entry to a water section and had to select Nazu. I hit the pause button to bring up the character selection screen. I wish I hadn't. This triggered a cutscene which showed the scene of carnage by a riverbank. It was horrible. The other animals were mutilated in gruesome ways. Boris was guttered and his paws had been cut off. Nasu had a rope around his neck and his shell was smashed in, revealing his organs. Monica was skinned and her eyes were missing. This horrible image remained on the screen for about a minute. When the image faded, my character was now in a room that was empty, except for the key and the door, which oddly was in plain sight. My sprite was no longer a monkey, but a human. The background music was the name entry theme for the Famicom Disk System version of Castlevania 3. I picked up the key. As I touched the door, the screen turned black and the phrase, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here," flashed on the screen rapidly for about 5 seconds. Then another image came up. A large, scary-looking guy with a few machu mustache, wearing a strange hat, sitting at a desk. A coin counter came up at the bottom of the screen. I hadn't paid attention much to it lately, but damn, it collected a lot of them, over 4,000. A digital voice came from the speakers. "I am pleased by your offering. Please enter." Then the coin counter rapidly depleted until it was down to 0, accomplished by the sounds of coin jiggling. The screen faded and I was in another room, which seemed to be in a red cavern. There was no background music this time. The only objective here was a door, which looked different than the wooden end of level doors in the rest of the game. Instead, it was a weird-looking gate with eyes and teeth. I went through it, thinking it would take me to level 7. It didn't take me there. Instead, it took me to, well, basically hell. The graphics were astoundingly detailed here, almost too good for the SNES. Even late-era Squadsoft games like Bahamut Lagoon, Final Fantasy IV, and Seiken Densetsu weren't this good looking. This was rather startling contrast to the somewhat primitive graphics from the rest of the game. In the background, large red humanoid with horns wearing animal skins were brutally beating and torturing people in all sorts of ways. The calm music had turned to distorted background version of the song Centerfold, punctuated by anguishing screams. I tried to progress, but one of the red creatures came out of the background and whacked my character's head off with a huge black spike club. That was apparently the end of the game. I zoomed in on my character's headless corpse. The creature stuck its hand on the screen, and the hand began to come into the real world. I instantly slammed my laptop shut and it fell to the floor. Nervously, I opened it again. The onion was gone and the emulator had closed. I breathed a sigh of relief. I still haven't played that gruesome game to this day.